Abusia for it is possible. Honorable Mahama Ayariga Edi Sembi Atuja Ebra Woko PM Ewo Mrashebedwam Mrashebedwam for kwa setena no propose in Samba community editor Mrashebedwam for nyinanim so monwene ho no mo hwe de obetimi ayafa ne nyina ne se propose say yemfa pension scheme emra ebetimi aketa for parliamentarians and ase Mrashebedwam for a yebeto oba etia omo anase omo mbe decide say yenko bio no yemfa mra na emeboa wo na odi nsembwe ebetu dwa no ono no susuye mu no hu ni se sa Mrashebedwam for mbeka so omo nkobio anase omo ebeto oba etia omo no omo som constituency in some way bia e was say etimi ema omo bibi omo kofie omo betimi ade ato nsu ono beto bibi ade ano na odi nsembwe ebetu dwa no Ghana for e kan sembebre di omo bisa ne se na Ex Gratia no akosisen ya kasi ebetwam ne benya twam anase ye ntwam na se ye twa Ex Gratia nim dia na ye say tit for tat ye yibie flore de bia behim na san sembe Ghana for atwe na boss saa say dentina aya majority leader etimi propose bibi say the members of parliament anya hwekrom kwa etu omo kai won neme bia omo enjoy by virtue of being members of parliament dentina obesom ne maye wie ebetua ne ka no na e was ye sanso e de o man sika esa ahwe na sika ebetimi da empuntu nwuma no e was yetimi esa de ma eye MPC a e beto abetia omo anase ombe omadwe se omo nkobio abusia no so wadwen kire and say with much wadwen comment section and sama ekosui.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleague members of Parliament. Since assuming office a week ago, my immediate attention has been on how to contribute towards the efforts of my predecessors and our Right Honorable Speaker, Sumana Alban-Kingsford-Bagbin, to strengthen the institution of Parliament by addressing the anxieties and concerns of members of Parliament when they fail to be re-elected or voluntarily decide not to run for office again. An institution is as strong as the individuals who populate that institution. Parliamentarians who know they are well catered for when they retire will be difficult to bribe and improperly influence. They can devote their attention to work and put up their best for their constituents and country. They will make Ghana great again. They can more adequately resist pressure from lobbyists and certain interest groups. So on the basis of that, I am proposing to this House for us to design a pension scheme that will cater to the needs of parliamentarians when they decide not to run for office again, or they run but they lose their elections and they are no longer here in this House. Mr. Speaker, it is a noble thing to decide to serve your constituency in this House, and sometimes people serve for a very long time, and in my instance, I was here since 20 years ago. I know of colleagues in this House who have been here for the past 24 years. Very, very sorry that these scenes that we are seeing are being projected to the rest of the country and to the world. The whole world knows that Ghana has one of the most beautiful and functioning democracies. The Ghana Parliament remains an envy of many parliaments. We've had an election that was so beautiful, the losing side conceded, and the whole world acclaimed us, and you could see that by the number of heads of states who came to witness the transition. So please, please, let us not destroy that image, that enviable image that we have carved for ourselves to the rest of the world as a beautiful, functioning democracy. I am pleading with all sides. I am pleading with all sides. As you can see, we would have continued, but logistically, it is no longer possible to continue logistically. The microphones have all been destroyed. And you know that with the microphones destroyed, it will be difficult for the media to carry the proceedings live at various stations. They may carry the image, but they cannot carry the voice. And vetting is about assessing and evaluating the nominee. As it is now, we in this room may be able to assess and evaluate them by hearing them, but the rest of the country will not be able to do that. The technical staff have closed and they have gone home. And so there's no way, in fact, even if they were here, the distraction of some of the machines here cannot be easily replaced tonight. So for that reason, it is practically impossible to continue with the vetting. So I am pleading with all sides, that we should bring proceedings to an end, and tomorrow, given that the facilities here have been destroyed, by morning we will designate a new location within the House to continue with the vetting of the nominees. But before I end, let me caution everybody that, you see, all of us have supporters out there. All of us need to satisfy our supporters. And so when we are vetting, let's make good use of the time allocated to us so that we can be efficient, we can vet as many people as possible, so that we can have the ministers at the various ministries functioning and delivering on the commitments that Ghanaians endorsed at the polls by the way they voted. So I am pleading with members of the committee, and I will have discussions with my colleague, the minority leader, so that we can come to some conclusion on the time allocation and how long we take to vet individual nominees. So please, I am pleading with you. Because what we have done today, we have seriously damaged our reputation as a parliament. It will take us a lot of effort to redeem ourselves. But I know that Ghanaians can forgive, and they will forgive us. But going forward, let us be decent when we are doing the vetting. It is not right to spend 3 hours, 4 hours questioning a nominee. It is not right. It provokes a lot of people. I'm not saying we shouldn't ask nominee questions, but let's be moderate in our approach. I can understand the passions and the anger informing the decision to continue, even though today you have done so well. Indeed, today you had scheduled to vet 3 people. You agreed among yourselves and then made it 4. Then you agreed among yourselves and you extended it to 6. Unfortunately, the development now makes it difficult to continue and implement the agreement. So I am pleading with you, bear with us. We are ending proceedings, and tomorrow we will continue. Meanwhile,
what if they come tomorrow and they do the same thing? Will you stop? Let them locate somewhere and do their betting. You are 80, except we came here and said you know what? We decided not to wait. You came today, you tell us how many people we
Oh, please, you know where the instructions are coming from. I beg you. Please.
Dwumadie sonko ekoso ewo NDC amayuko no dom kese no womo entem na womo afaso ayi empanyin fofora won ena ebeda dom kese no ano no mahwe aboa ama aban dwumadie ni susue nyina etimi akonanim na saa anamonto na huhia pa esanse mampanyin John Dramani Mahama na wodi kan bobom panyimfo ni bi ewo mrahye din a wode asoafo di bresonko ahyehye womo ensa etu womo ye sensen na nakon no Honorable Mahama Ayariga ya oyeboku central mrahye ono ena womo yi ne se dom kase no womba no dani ena Honorable Kwaku Ricketts Hagan ya ono so ye Cape Coast South mrahye ono ena beye na bedi akire eno eda nchen a South Dai mrahye Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafia Makpo ono ena beye majority chief whip ena ada mrahye Honorable Comfort Doyo Kojo ono so ebeye na bedi ono so beye first deputy majority chief whip afei Honorable Richard Echampon Bia East mrahye ono ebeye second deputy majority chief whip.
I see the SML report. I see clearly that this is pure criminality. I don't have confidence in this government. I don't believe that they have any intention of fighting corruption because it's obvious that they must have been part of it. They must have been part of it. To the extent that the president himself, even after getting to know the facts, was doing everything to shield the public from knowing the facts.
Well, but he eventually released it, didn't he?
Do you know the lobbying that went behind the president releasing? Do you know? I heard the general secretary of the NDC say something about the conditions under which those reports were made public. But why would the president be hiding a report like that? Why would he be so reluctant?
Was he hiding it?
But why was he so reluctant?
Because he had already issued a white paper on it.
When as a president, you discover criminality to this extent, you are supposed to move fast. In fact, but for the fact that it is Ghana and the NPP, if it was in some jurisdiction like in the US or UK or other place, by now the Prime Minister would have been resigning for such a report like this.
Do well by
in a place like America, by this time the president would be facing impeachment proceedings.
But didn't the president do well by commissioning KPMG to do an audit into the GRA and SML contract? He
didn't need an audit. He did. You know the style of this president.
And eventually,
you know the style of this president.
He issued a white paper. Eventually, the report is out.
How many cases of alleged corruption hasn't he rushed to establish some committee or body or that who will do a whitewash and come up with a watered down version of the truth, and then he will find a way of going around it. This is a clear case. Like I told you, KPMG missed the question. They asked the wrong questions, gave us the wrong answers, and then built on their wrong answers to give us the wrong recommendation. That's what happened. The key question is, does a GRA, by the law establishing them, or the existing revenue legislation, or even the Public Procurement Act, because, like I said, a revenue assurance arrangement by which you give somebody a share of public revenue is completely different from a service.
Right. So,
and I'm saying that if it was strictly a service, okay, it would have been structured in such a way that they would have been paid from the 3%
directly.
Yes.
And that's something that you believe is criminality.
Exactly.
So you don't believe the president has done well. You thought that he could have been impeached.
Doing well.
You believe that he can be
this president doing well in a clear case like this that I as a lawyer can see clearly that he's simply trying to whitewash the situation.
But you said that he's not done well enough and he could possibly be impeached.
I'm saying
if
that
it was in another jurisdiction.
Some jurisdiction, such a conduct by a president to have uncovered this level of criminality and yet do nothing or hide the report and not make it available to the public, and then the public has been agitating, civil society groups have been agitating, parliamentarians and etc. And I'm saying that when the report came out and we now discovered that there was criminality and you were sitting on it, then that is the moment when you, as the president.
I also need to state here that no member of this government is permitted to engage in any form of small-scale mining or galamsey. Any such persons will face sanctions which shall be swift and severe. We intend to call a stakeholder consultation on the menace of Galamsey to forge a broad consensus on the measures we intend to take to preserve our environment from wanton destruction. This will involve, but not limited to, the following: a river guard, which will employ youth from the communities affected by illegal mining, cleaning and eliminating toxic substances from our water bodies, reclaiming mined-out lands, training small-scale miners in sustainable mining practices. We've also begun the establishment of the Gold Board, which will ensure that Ghana gets the full benefit of the bountiful natural resource that God has blessed us